estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in Liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. It is Mark with you,
Johnny Ray,
and Brett.
And you can call in. You can talk about whatever is on your mind this Sunday evening. And I've been sort of interviewing Brett Venat of the School Sucks Project here about his thoughts on education. And obviously, that's something you pretty much got to put up with every time you come here, Brett.
Absolutely.
I think this is the most important subject in the liberty sphere. If we think about taxation, for me, the largest burden is public schools.
Mm-hmm.
The largest amount of taxes I pay is currently to pay for what is the worst school in a given geographic area for a given grade. I'm forced to pay for it, and if I don't, I hate education. It's the dumbest set of reasoning that I could ever possibly hear. I would never subject my child to it. I can understand why people send their kids to school, and specifically to government school, but ultimately I think we'd be better off without it.
Mark, wasn't there a time when your son wanted to go to the public school and you had said okay and you were preparing yourself for that?
No.
Did he change his mind?
No, he has talked about it, but really what he doesn't like is that whole getting up at a specific time and going to bed at a specific time thing. He's just not prepared to make any kind of sacrifices for the way that I think him waking up on his own is important. So sometimes he'll sleep till 10. And I think that's when brain development occurs. Best I've read, that's a true statement. So, I try to get him in bed as best I can on time, but I'm sure every parent out there realizes it's difficult to get a kid to go to bed on time. I'm not willing to sacrifice by saying, all right, I've picked an arbitrary time for you to be up every single day, and you should be up at that time because we're going to do things.
Brain development occurs during sleep, not at 10 a.m.
It's during sleep if it is 10 a.m.
Okay.
So anyway, let me tell you about Dash. Dash is digital cash. It's a digital money platform. It's designed to replace cash and help people to manage their own wealth. It's fast, it can be private, and it's easy to use. Fees are low and transactions are fast and can be even confirmed instantly if you want. You can pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is decentralized and run by users who earn rewards for helping to run the network and make governance decisions. Anyone can invest in Dash and earn rewards for helping to run the Dash network. And Dash is really, it's an upgrade to the Bitcoin system that we were given by Satoshi Nakamoto, and I think it's great for that. If you want to privately send $300 to somebody in North Korea, and they have access to a computer, because you really have to have the internet to do this. But let's presume somebody in North Korea has the internet. If you want to do that, you can, and there's no banker, there's no politician, there's no fat man with a terrible haircut. You decide who that is, who can stop you. You can find out more right now by going to dash.org. That's DASH dash.org. So where were we on this education?
I think we were talking about Jack attending public school.
Oh, yeah. Johnny, you're asking about Jack going to public school. Yeah. I mean, I can't say that I want him to. Mm-hmm. If he decides he wants to go play football or something like that, I don't see any evidence that that's going to be the case, by the way.
Sure.
But if he decides that that's what he wants to do, then sure, he can go off and do that. You can, as a homeschooled kid, play football at the local school that you paid for, if that's what you want to do. But, some kids want to be some kids want to be with the other kids.
Right.
Their recess and hanging out with those other kids is so important to them that that's what they want to do, and I think that should be fine. In the case of the local school in my town, it's a good one. If you rank it against other government schools, it does quite well. I don't know how it does against the private school in my area, but I have no intention of sending my son to a Seventh-day Adventist school. So, those are my options.
Well, when I was co-hosting Wednesday nights years ago, we had more than one caller who wanted advice on what to do in these, families where parents get divorced or whatever, and a kid has to go to public school. I think it's a much better situation to be in if, that does become the case where a child is going to go into the public school. If they have a parent who understands these problems with schooling, who understands what actual education is, who's invested in their child's self-directed education in their child's future, and also has this skepticism, a liberty mindset certainly helps develop that skepticism about the public schools. Like, I think with all those things in place, that child is much better set up for school survival than the parent who just, marches the kid to the bus stop and then tells his or herself a story about how that kid is getting an education because they spend 7 hours in the school.
So I have a question. I want you to think about it because I'm going to take a call here after I ask the question.
Absolutely.
If you had to sort of, you get to pick, Brett. You are God King of schooling.
Terrific.
Would you rather a kid go to government school the first few years and then have the rest of the time off? Would you rather them, basically do unschooling for the first 6 years or 4 years and then, go to school for the middle and then be off? Would it be what is the least important time in a kid's schooling? The first 4 years, the middle 4 years, the last 4 years. Let's go to, and I want you to think about that.
I love that question.
And give me an answer here in a second, but we're going to go to David calling in from New Mexico. David, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yeah. Before I go on to my topic, my comment on what you just said is I think you already had it. You talked about letting the kid decide. So I think that's probably in my head anyway, that's the biggest factor is what does the kid want to do? Did you homeschool your kids, David? No, I remember it. I haven't seen my children in 10 years because they were trafficked away from me by the state.
I don't know what the time frame is, but I know that you had kids.
Yeah, I was the stay-at-home parent, the primary caretaker while they were basically in diapers, and before they got out of diapers, she left and the kids went with her, and I never saw them again. So, but I would have if I had the ability, meaning I didn't need to be out working, I would prefer to homeschool. That's what I would have done if I had the choice. But sometimes you don't have the choice because you can't do your job, your career, your work, or whatever.
Yep.
And school at the same time. Some people can and some people can't. So it just depends on the situation. But that would be the first choice.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you, and I hope that I don't sound too sanctimonious when I'm talking about this. My wife and I decided that we were going to sacrifice. We decided that I wasn't going to buy new clothes. We weren't going to eat out very often, one time a week. She was going to make meals at home, and we were going to only have one car, and we made sacrifices in order for her to be able to, us to have the money so that it would make up for the fact that she wasn't working.
Right.
And that's what our decision was. And at this point, I'm pretty happy about it. Go ahead, David, with your thoughts.
Yeah, good. I relate to that too. Yeah, the sacrifice thing, that was a part of the plan, this end of it as well. So I agree with that. What I was calling you about tonight is just a brief update, and without being too boring about it. This mayor election thing is coming to a head in Albuquerque. They just had another debate today, one-on-one, the two finalists, the Republican and the Democrat. The Democrat being, I'm sure you're familiar with Tim Keller via Sarah's calls, and the reason I bring that one up is just under the category of keeping politicians accountable. I think I told you it was like a week ago, or no, it's over a week, 2 weeks since I got a commitment from Keller to call me and discuss an issue that he couldn't answer the question live on air, and of course he has not followed up on that commitment that he made. I
wondered about that. David, please keep us up to date on that, because I'm interested in if he'll ever live up to what he says he's going to do. Thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are two Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Happy, the rescue dog. He was missing hair, stinky, scabby, but I have a vet that I trust, and she recommended Dinovite.
Order a 90-day supply of Dinovite for your dog this week.
We'll send you a bottle of Super Mega Fish Oil free.
Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Free this week at Dinovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
How did you become addicted? A friend? Were you at a party and someone said, "Hey, try this"? Then you got the cold sweats and started shaking. And the more you did it, the more it didn't work. So you switched to the needle. Now you're a train wreck. Drinking, drugging, broke. Your family hates you. And you hate you. Get out of your hell on earth now. Call the Detox and Treatment Helpline today for immediate help. In many cases, your insurance may cover the costs. We can't guarantee it, but we can guarantee we have what you need to change your life for the better. Pick up your cell phone and call right now. 855-700-2979. 855-700-2979. 855-700-2979. That's 855-700-2979.
A new report from the Department of Health and Human Services urges Americans to do something, anything at all. According to the study, getting off your ass and doing any sort of physical or mental activity could have positive health effects.
Look, we're not expecting you to go to the gym. That's clearly not happening. Just walk outside for a few blocks and then come back home. You can bring potato chips if that's what it'll take.
For many years, the health department has encouraged Americans to watch less TV, but this report reverses that, saying, quote, watch whatever the hell you want, but at least pay attention and remember who the characters are, or just admire the colors. Colors are pretty. It's expected that following the advice in this report will cut down on the largest cause of death among Americans, laying on your back until your mouth fills up with saliva and you drown. Following the report's release, the most popular exercise now seems to be masturbating, but researchers warn that if you do it in public, stick to the sidewalk or you might get hit by cars.
This is the Onion News Network.
For years, LRN.FM has had a listen line that you can call and listen to LRN.FM anytime. Now we're taking the idea to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line. You can call 641-793-9660 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed, and you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 641-793-9660 and choose from the menu 641-793-9660. Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you're helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. This live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark here with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Brett.
Brett, I asked you a question, and I have not forgotten the question. We will get into it here in just a moment, but I want to tell people real quick about what's going on with hope.freetalklive.com. This is an orphanage we're building in Jinja, Uganda in Africa. We have got the roof on it now. We're looking to raise basically another $6,000. So Jax.io and GetSell411.com are matching. So all we have to do is raise basically $2,000. If you would please go check out hope.freetalklive.com. Read about what we're doing there. If you find it motivating, then please give at hope.freetalklive.com. We just want these kids to have an opportunity to go to school, have a place to take a shower, sleep in a bed rather than all piled up on the floor like they have been. I've seen the pictures. So there you go. Hope.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Patrick calling in from Norfolk. Patrick, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how you guys doing tonight?
All's well. What's on your mind?
Well, I watch the news once in a great while. All I see on the news basically is talks about all the torture down there in California, all the fires and stuff.
Yeah.
You got any idea when they got any help coming in from other states or anything?
I know that firefighters went from here in New Hampshire. I was on an email list that it was brought up. I considered going, but I didn't. I don't have the training that a lot of these guys have, so I didn't want to become a burden to the people who are doing the real work out there. I don't think they want a piker, so I decided not to go. I have heard, however, this is the largest forest fire in California history, which is saying something.
Absolutely. Where is it located?
It's Northern California, like Napa Valley area.
Do you know any other states are involved? Got any other fires out besides California that are?
We've got a pretty robust system for handling forest fires, brush fires and that sort of thing. States all over the union. This isn't anything new. There will be fires out west next year too, and the year after, and the year after, and the year after, because fires are a natural part of what goes on out there.
Right,
so we're prepared. It's just that this was a really big one, and the fire is dangerous. So something bad happen. And this is why they call firemen heroes, because they're willing to go out there and, fight the fire. But, again, they get paid for it. Go ahead, Patrick.
Well, I lived in northeastern California for a while, about 6 months. It was up above Susanville, up near the McCoy Reservoir.
I can't say my
390.
I can't say my California geography is really that good. You're getting beyond my ability to know where you're going there. So what's up?
Yeah. Well, anyways, I didn't run into too many forest fires when I lived there, so I was just.
It's a big country.
You want to know an interesting fact about forest fires? And this is actually a little Free Talk Live tidbit here. The first time I ever had Mr. Ian Freeman on my show in 2009, title of the episode was The War on Fire. And we talked about government unintended consequences. And the U.S. Forest Service, when they started, they were out to put out everything that started, right? Every fire, even these small brush fires. So because they would go after the small stuff on the forest floor, what actually wound up happening was the bigger fires would have more kindling,
right? Fine fuel.
Yeah, exactly. And forest fires actually got worse over the history of the U.S. Forest Service.
Yep. Thanks for the call, Patrick. Appreciate it.
A story came out last week that Pacific Gas and Electric, I'm assuming that's what PG&E stands for,
yep.
The utility,
I'll take your word for it.
May be responsible for this latest batch of fires, that some power lines have sparked this latest.
I've certainly seen that happen. So before we get back into the calls here, I had asked you a question, Brett, and I want you to get an opportunity to answer it. And since that question was asked probably about 10 minutes ago, I'm going to re-ask that question. The question is if you had to sort of give advice to parents, and you're an expert sort of on alternative education, if you had to give advice to parents and they had to pick sort of 1/3 of their kids' time in school to send them their kids' time in school years to send them to school. So you could basically pick, early to mid elementary. You could pick late elementary, middle school to maybe early high school or something, or somewhere in there, junior high or high school. Basically, the 4 years, 4 years, 4 years.
Right.
Which one would you pick? Just sort of as the one to send a kid to school if you had to.
I'm going with high school.
Okay, why?
And the reason why
it was so damaging to me. High school was so awful.
Well, I mean, I think we should check this by saying every individual is different, so I'm not being prescriptive here in any way. If I was providing this as an actual consulting service, I would need to know as much as I could about the child, but it's very far-fetched because, like, if this parent is making the decision, the child is 5, so what am I going to be able to know about the child in that moment when the child is? So it's a very difficult situation.
You're
just zooming out
above a timeline here.
Oh, perfect.
Right, that's amazing, right? So as you zoom out, you have no timeline. You're not dealing with somebody who's currently dealing with their kid, and so the day-to-day problems of education. You're
absolutely. And in an earlier segment, you did call me the God Emperor of education.
Yeah, right. I said you're God King. So
this would be a power that I would have, I think. So
why high school?
Well, for the reasons we already talked about, those first 4 years of elementary school, from the time a child's about 6 to 10, are very formative years as far as building some confidence.
But I thought 1 to 5 was the formative years.
Well, I mean, as far as the school age years, like those are probably the most important years.
So second most formative.
Right. I mean, as far as the child's psychology, I think it's the first 5 years. But as far as asserting oneself as a learner, as a person, ages 6 to 10 are the most important group of years in the choices that you gave me. So I would want that child to have the maximum freedom possible to pursue his or her interests. Middle school, I would not want, is certainly a boy trapped in a desk because he's going through puberty. So I think you said it was Montessori who had talked about, we were talking about this during the break, you said Montessori said kids don't learn at that age.
Yeah, they said send them to a farm.
Yeah, I think that's a big part of why, because sitting still when you're having all those feelings is very, very difficult.
This is where emo kids come from.
And high school is a time to be social. It's a time to, what was the word you used, Johnny Ray?
Network,
right? With with boys, with people of the opposite sex or the same sex or whatever you're into, right? And if the child has been home educated all the way up to that time, they are in a much better position, I think, to survive and thrive in a potentially toxic environment like the American high school.
Let's go to Scott Biggett calling in from Massachusetts. Scott, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, good evening, Mark, Johnny, Ray, and Brett. How are you?
Good, how are you?
As good as can be expected. You know, I'm going to tell you something. President Trump, as you know, broke the Iran treaty. And that's going to bring eventually an unnecessary war with Iran, probably sooner than later. And if you read between the writing, if you read the writing on the wall, if you read between the lines, this smacks of the American Israel Public Affairs Committee, AIPAC, and Jared Kushner, his son-in-law, Trump's son-in-law, who have worked behind the scenes in a conspiracy. And this is not just a conjecture. This is what's going on, to sabotage the treaty in the hope that America will start a war with Iran and do basically the dirty work for Israel. That American boys will fight and die in the Middle East instead of Zionists getting killed.
No,
and that's not fair.
So what's the best evidence that Kushner is the culprit there?
Well, he's an Orthodox Jew. He's deeply religious.
He doesn't have the hat.
No, he doesn't have the hat. He doesn't.
How can he be Orthodox?
He's Orthodox. He doesn't have the revolting side locks and all of that, but he's Orthodox.
That's something else. That's Hasidic.
But I thought that the Hasidics were Orthodox.
He cleaned himself up, and
they're different.
And he has the most important, powerful man in the world, and told him to kill the Iran treaty, so Israel won't have to shoulder the burden with a war with Iran. We're already in the Middle East. And now Iran is gonna only be more antagonistic toward us, more hostile toward us, and gonna push us closer to war. That means American boys are gonna have to fight and die in the Middle East, fighting Israel's war. We don't need to fight for the Zionists.
Scott, something terrible has happened.
For the Zionists.
Listen, Scott, something terrible has happened. Brett has asked me to hold you over.
All right, I'll wait.
Ugh. Free Talk Live.
Attention business owners and independent contractors. This is a money-saving message from Tax Mediation Services. If your business owes $20,000 or more in taxes, we can help you today, right now. Listen, dealing with the IRS is no picnic. It's an intimidating and extremely stressful process, and you don't want to go it alone. Our attorneys know every law, every tax break, and every possible opportunity to help you resolve and reduce your tax debt. And if you owe more than $20,000, you may be at the top of their hit list. So don't take your tax debt lightly, because it will not go away on its own. The IRS can seize your bank accounts, your home, and even shut down your business. Call our tax experts today at 1-800-774-3149 and let us deal with the IRS while you focus on your business. That's 1-800-774-3149. Again, that's 800-774-3149.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at SurvivorMax.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1. Share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2. Buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3. Give $5 a month to the AMP program. You likely buy all kinds of things online. Amazon is the largest online retailer. You can get what you need at the same prices with free Super Saver shipping by going to shop.freetalklive.com. Please do your online shopping at shop.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, October 15th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.41 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,304 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,494. Antiwar.com reports Catalan President Carles Puigdemont is struggling to navigate a growing political storm following the suspended Declaration of Independence and Spain's issuing of an ultimatum demanding he formally disavow it. Puigdemont is now facing mounting pressure from his main political allies within Catalonia, who want an immediate declaration of independence without any further delays. Spain has threatened to arrest Puigdemont if he tries that, and has threatened to seize all of Catalonia under direct rule. Spain's ultimatum deadline is fast approaching, and Puigdemont's call for talks does not seem to be getting much support anywhere, with Spain ruling out talks and Catalan officials saying there's nothing left to talk about. Some EU officials have cautioned Puigdemont against moving forward, and while that has apparently raised some hope of mediation talks, it's not clear there are people interested in attending such talks, even if the EU were to offer. On October 1st, Catalonia voted overwhelmingly in favor of secession. Spanish police cracked down on voters, injuring over 800. Spain has insisted the vote does not count, while Catalan voters held massive rallies to protest the violence. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. UPI reports a report that online retail giant Amazon is eyeing an entry into the prescription drug sales market, sent shares tumbling for brick-and-mortar drugstore chains Walgreens and CVS on Friday. Amazon has been rumored to be considering a move into the drugstore business for months, though a report released by healthcare analyst Leerink earlier this month said it's highly likely Amazon will open a prescription drug delivery business sometime in the next 2 years. Representatives from Amazon declined to comment on the report. CNBC previously reported the company is expected to make a decision on whether to pursue a prescription drug sales strategy before Thanksgiving. Though Amazon has a lucrative history of disrupting other sectors of the U.S. economy, including electronics, houseware, media, and groceries, a move into the lucrative $560 billion per year prescription drug industry would be more difficult, according to experts. Drug sales are highly regulated by the FDA, making it likely Amazon would have to partner with an existing provider rather than start its own business from scratch. It would not, however, be the first time Amazon dipped its toes into the healthcare marketplace. In 1999, Amazon purchased the online drug sales site drugstore.com. After failing to garner a significant share of the market, Amazon eventually sold drugstore.com to Walgreens in 2011. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 18 U.S. states sued President Donald Trump's administration on Friday to stop him from scrapping a key component of Obamacare, subsidies to insurers that help millions of low-income people pay medical expenses, even as Trump invited Democratic leaders to negotiate a deal. One day after his administration announced plans to end the payments next week, Trump said he would dismantle Obamacare step by step. His latest action raised concerns about chaos in insurance markets. The subsidies cost $7 billion this year, and according to congressional analysts, were estimated to be $10 billion for 2018. Trump's action took aim at a critical element of the 2010 law, his Democratic predecessor Barack Obama's signature domestic policy achievement. Frustrated by the failure of his fellow Republicans, who control both houses of Congress, to repeal and replace Obamacare, Trump has taken several steps to chip away at it. Democratic attorneys general from 18 states as well as Washington, D.C. filed a lawsuit in federal court in California asking the court to force Trump to make the next payment. Legal experts said the states were likely to face an uphill battle in court. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
A reclusive deity hasn't written a new book in 2,000 years, and a local rescue dog is adopted for a couple weeks. This is the Onion Week in Review. This week, in a devastating blow to the nation's laundry, 16,000 Americans were reportedly stained during the messiest day in U.S. history. Reports confirm that nearly 3,000 citizens received permanent stains on their good shirt from mustard splatter off a dropped hot dog, along with 12,000 cases of spilled coffee and other dark beverages, ruining Americans' pair of hand-wash-only pants. Government officials further indicated that federal assistance for the nation's overwhelmed dry cleaners would be necessary. And in this week's local news, an elderly Rite Aid patron stretches out a conversation about toothpaste to prolong human contact. In other news, artifacts discovered buried in Washington, D.C. suggest humans once passed laws there. A self-centered child blames his parents' divorce entirely on himself. And a night of uninterrupted sleep really throws off a man's entire day.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It's the second hour of Free Talk Live on this live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
Johnny Ray.
And Brett.
I have broken the rules of talk radio. I have allowed a guest to dictate how things are going to go on the air. And Brett Fanat here of the School Sucks Project, currently on the School Sucks Across America tour, wanted to continue to talk to Scott the Bigot. Now, I'm not entirely sure what you're hoping to achieve here, Brett, but I will bring Scott right back on the air to chit-chat with you. Scott, Brett.
Good evening, gentlemen.
Let me recap real quick.
Yes,
sure.
Yeah. So let me recap real quick. I know we were. Let's see. Yeah. America controlled by the Jews. Blah blah blah.
That's right.
Americans, young American men will be killed in a war for the Zionists.
That's right.
Something.
Now,
you know, it's so clear, obvious. The American people are so stupid. Let's be.
I just don't feel like these are strong arguments. And the thing that I wanted to say about Kushner is, like, I understand the politics of that. I understand the motive in what you're saying.
The motive is to say a Jewish name on the air. Come on.
But it's not like the antagonisms with Iran start with the Trump administration and Jared Kushner. This was really scary. And now I know you could say the neoconservatives and start listing all of their names, but these antagonisms with Iran go back to the 70s. They go back to, if you want to talk about, you know, the American-British complex, they go back to the early 1950s. So I just want to make sure that people following along at home are not thinking that, military posturing towards Iran on behalf of is new and on behalf of Israel at the behest of Jared Kushner. I think that's simplistic.
I'm glad you brought that up. Iran has every reason to hate the United States. Let's look at the history. We propped up the Shah in 1954.
We nothing. I was 19 whatever. I wasn't alive.
You do an excellent job playing the part of Ian.
Right,
and the Shah of Iran put in installed this horrible SAVAK, secret police, murdered and tortured innocent, helpless Iranians. All we did was want their oil. We raped the country for their oil, took their oil reserves. They stormed our embassy in November of 1979, and they had every reason to. And if I was the Iranian government, I'd hate the United States too. The United States is great Satan, Israel is little Satan. And as far as AIPAC goes, they may not have started going back to the 1950s, but they definitely now want to start a war with Iran. So America will do the fighting, and Israel will be spared all the bloodshed.
But how many countries is that true for? It's not just like America is the bulldog for Israel. It's been that for so many countries around the world since the end of the First World War. I mean, America was fighting British wars. I mean,
America has no right to be the world's policeman, the world's cop.
Well, we all agree on that.
We are the world's cop. And World War I we shouldn't have gone into. World War II we shouldn't have gone into.
Well, there probably wouldn't have been a World War II if there hadn't have been a World War I. if the United States hadn't got a World War II.
If Adolf Hitler and Germany wasn't so humiliated by the Treaty of Versailles,
right.
I blame the World War II completely on the West, specifically on France and Britain. and the United States for humiliating Germany.
Yeah.
So
they're
I don't
responsible
think, I don't
for
think Wilson wanted that. It's just that he enabled it. There was nothing. Once he went into that war, there was nothing he could do to stop Britain and France from punishing the Hun. Thanks for the call, Scott. I appreciate it.
You don't think he wanted what? Wilson wanted what?
I don't think Wilson wanted. I think he wanted peace afterwards. Like, he really believed that you could get peace through shooting people and stuff, and that. He wanted to put together this, the League of Nations. He wanted Germany to have this treaty that was fair and all that stuff. And he didn't get anything he wanted. Why? Because he was nothing but muscle. He was, if tricked into the war, forced into the war, whatever terminology you wish to use, he should have just held strong. And he is the best argument. Look at what happened to the United States through Woodrow Wilson in World War I, and you will see the best argument for staying the hell out of other countries' affairs.
Right, but it's not. There's also the argument that the outcomes of that were no accident, right?
Sure.
If people are interested in learning more about the consequences of Woodrow Wilson, I would recommend looking into his top advisor, a man named Colonel, who he wasn't affiliated with the military in any way, but he called himself Colonel Edward House. And he actually wrote a book called Philip Drew Administrator before I think he started work with the Wilson administration, where he basically lays out the agenda of his dream ruler. And it is very, very similar to what played out during the Woodrow Wilson years. So Woodrow Wilson was an academic. In many ways, he was probably quite naive. He was one of the old progressive racists. Remember, racism used to be a trait of the left back then.
Yeah.
And his background, I think he did have a political position either as a governor. He was a governor somewhere before that, I believe.
I don't know if that was true. I only recall that he was like a dean of Princeton or something.
I think he was the president of Princeton University for sure. But he probably relied pretty heavily on the wrong people, and whether he regretted that or not, or understood that or not, I don't know. But I think at the end of the call there, we all agreed on something with Scott.
Well,
that's important.
I agree with Scott that Israel is pushing the United States to antagonisms with Iran. And when you see the headlines from Benjamin Netanyahu talking about how he supported President Trump's courageous decision, you get evidence for that. But I think that Saudi Arabia is also is there egging us on.
Wanting the same thing, yeah.
And possibly Turkey.
So Saudi Arabia is much more homogenous since it's ruled by one ruling family. Israel has many political parties. The Likud party is certainly the war party over there, and they, Netanyahu's been getting elected over time. But I think it's worth pointing out that there are many Iranians and many Israelis that don't want a war with each other. They don't want the United States involved. They don't want that stuff. So I don't want to fall into the trap that everybody else has of talking of nations as though, millions of people as though they have one mind.
Right. Yeah, that's extremely dangerous. And that's the story of World War II. Once you draw this clear line between good and evil, as the United States and the British did against the Germans, was the German government doing incredibly evil things? No doubt. But look at what the consequences of that, because of collectivism were. Look at what the consequences of that were for the German people. And the fire bombings of Dresden.
They're still flagellating themselves, over this many decades later, as though they had anything to do with it.
Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, that's a good point.
Let's go to Dave Ridley calling in here from New Hampshire on Skype. Dave, you're on Free Talk Live. Good Lord.
Dave. I had, yes, can you hear me okay?
Gotcha.
Okay. Now, you had a caller about 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry it's taken me so long to respond to him, but he was kind of inspirational to me. He was a young man calling in from I don't remember where, saying he couldn't move to New Hampshire yet, so he was going to go to his nearest courthouse and start doing fully informed jury rights activism right where he was.
Yes, I recall him. Yep.
It's funny how do you remember where he was calling from?
I don't.
It's funny how we tend to criticize people who are hitting on 4 cylinders instead of 5, or 4, 5 cylinders instead of 6, when we really should be criticizing people who aren't even on the radar at all. But I'm going to fall into that trap and critique him just a little bit, or make at least a suggestion of how he could make his activism more effective. One thing that we learned, I think, I can't speak for everyone who was in Dallas at the time, but we had a strong Free State Project contingent in Dallas in the early, in the 2004 era. And what we learned, or at least what I learned as part of that group, was that anything we did for our local area, we wound up wasting our time. It wound up being something we regretted. It didn't really get us anywhere. But the stuff we did focused on New Hampshire while we were still in Dallas was dramatically effective, I think, to a large extent. We had adventures along those lines, and focusing on New Hampshire from where we were seemed to be the more effective thing.
Dave, I want to talk to you about this a bit more if you'll just hold the line here. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Or you can call in on Skype, lrn.fm.
Book Club Radio.
Today we're chatting with Mike Papantonio, leading trial lawyer and prolific author. His latest novel, Law and Vengeance, is a non-stop, action-packed legal thriller. We spoke with him about the book and the real-life issues that inform and inspire his writing.
I ended up being involved in really complex cases. By being there, it gave me kind of an interesting view of the world that maybe most people don't see, because I'm always on the other side of a table against a corporation that's created a pharmaceutical that's killing people, or a corporations that's polluting our waterways or our air knowingly, or a Wall Street entity that's stealing from mom and pop. So I always see that part of the story, and I collect the documents, and I take the depositions, and I try the cases. And in there, most of these books that I write kind of write themselves, because they're all based on actual events, actual cases that I handle.
On the heels of the critically acclaimed legal thriller, Law and Disorder, comes Law and Vengeance, the latest novel from famed trial attorney Mike Papantonio. Law and Vengeance follows the law firm of Bergman Dichotomus, who is now in the crosshairs of a weapons manufacturer. But this is not a law firm that plays by all the rules. Based on a real case, Law and Vengeance, the riveting new legal thriller by Mike Papantonio, is available wherever books are sold.
Have you wanted to get into Bitcoin mining but don't want to deal with the hassle and frustration of operating the mining hardware? Let pool.bitcoin.com handle it for you like I did. Just visit pool.bitcoin.com and use their calculator to estimate what you could end up making. You get to decide which Bitcoin you want to mine. If you already have mining equipment, you're invited to join pool.bitcoin.com. Get all the details and get started mining Bitcoin at pool.bitcoin.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You can call in and talk about whatever you want to talk about. We've talked about, well, with here, Brett Venant from School Sucks Project. We've been talking about alternatives to government education. Dave Ridley from the Ridley Report just called in, wanted to talk about activism, and I'm not entirely sure, where he's going to take, liberty-oriented activism, but I do want to hear more. And before that, I want to tell you about Whole Food Multi-Complete. Whole Food Multi-Complete is much more than a multivitamin. It's a multivitamin and mineral supplement, certainly, and it's food-based as opposed to synthetic, like in all likelihood the one you're taking. It's certainly much higher quality since it's food-based, but it also has things like enzymes, probiotics, antioxidants. It gives the 7 different types of nutrients that you need, and the list of the ingredients in this thing is just expansive. If you go to simplifymysupplements.com, if you do nothing else in response to this ad that I'm reading right now, go to simplifymysupplements.com and just look at the ingredients there. This is a great supplement. I've been taking it now for going on a year, getting close to it. When I first started taking it, I lost about 10, 15 pounds, and the reason was essentially it was just balancing me out. I didn't know why, but my gut wasn't as healthy as it could be. Watched this movie, and it said, sure enough, probiotics, if taken properly, can make you lose weight. I didn't even know why I lost the weight, but it worked for me. SimplifyMySupplements.com. If you use coupon code FTL, you'll save 10% on your order, and that's every time you order. Satisfaction guaranteed, or your money back. They do take Bitcoin. SimplifyMySupplements.com. Coupon code FTL. Let's go back to Dave Ridley, calling in from New Hampshire. Dave, you're back on Free Talk Live.
Yeah, so there's this sort of history in the Free Stater movement of people outside New Hampshire planning a move to New Hampshire and deciding before they move here, they're going to do something where they are.
Yep.
Lauren, or there's something on the way here, or something like this. So you had Lauren Canario doing this outstanding activism in Connecticut.
I can't tell you how many times I've heard it. Let's just presume it's true because I believe it is. Many people who want to be active, they want to try something ahead of time. Go ahead.
Yeah, so she basically shoots her bolt in Connecticut, basically the wrong place, does this brilliant activism, but it's in the wrong place. So by the time she gets here, she never did anything as cool here as she did when she was in Connecticut. George Donnelly, good activist in the Mid-Atlantic, goes to a federal building and does some stuff, tries to film some protest or something, ends up getting just arrested, and his whole plan to move to New Hampshire is derailed. And he's not really that active anymore, as best I can tell. And so there's this urge to do something right there where you are that's not even connected to New Hampshire. And it's really much better before you move to do something focused on the place you're going to be, not the place where you are.
Yeah, I would agree that, if you're moving for the Free State Project or for the greater liberty migration that is New Hampshire, that your best bet and the most support you're going to get is here in New Hampshire. If you have some terrible situation, you end up on probation, you end up in jail or whatever, just trying to do some activism elsewhere, what have you done to further liberty, to further your goal of getting to New Hampshire, to further making New Hampshire a freer place? And I'd say nothing.
It's an emotional drive, though, versus the rational argument. I mean, when I first heard about the Free State Project and when I first heard Free Talk Live, I was in Massachusetts. Right,
but
the more I listened,
NH native.
Yeah, and I actually was able to join the Free State Project and move back because I've been gone for about 10 years. But the more I listened and the more I learned, the more angry I got with my surroundings. And I think I have lots of excuses, like I was very busy and
nobody has that excuse.
Right. But no, I came close a couple of times to, or really wanted to do something before it was possible for me to move. So I think there's lots of people who might be more connected to like-minded folks where they are, who say, hey, I'm gonna do something here. I'm motivated. I'm in a heightened state of emotion about, what I'm learning or what I've learned, and they spring into action. But I agree with what Dave is saying. If you don't have a support system that also has a history and the practice with doing these things, you're really disadvantaging yourself, and you're, as he cited the example, hurting your chances of being able to do those things more productively in the future.
So one thing you can do is if you go to RidleyReport.com and then click About, you will find a list I've created of things that you can do focused on New Hampshire before you move here.
Yeah, it's a great list, and there are things you can do before you move. They may not be as flashy as what you hope to do. I don't know, set yourself on fire out in front of the courthouse or whatever it is you're going to do in your local area.
No, that's flashy.
Yeah, it's flashy, all right, and it's obviously not going to get you moved to New Hampshire.
Well, we had a lot of fun doing things in Dallas before. It was in 2004 before I moved. We had a demonstration at the IRS building on April 15th, and we handed out flyers inviting people to move to New Hampshire, and the cops confronted us. And if we'd gotten video of that, it would have been completely viral. I used to just go to any place that had a lot of traffic, human people walking around, and I'd just put up a flyer of some kind that had Free State Project information on it and tear-offs. And those tear-offs people tore so many of those things off. It was just endless. And one time, I was at a courthouse because I got called in for jury duty, and I just spent the entire time putting up Free State Project literature around the courthouse. And a Free Stater saw it in Dallas.
That's great.
They said, give that guy a gold star. But there were just all kinds of little fun things we could do where we already were. But they were focused on New Hampshire, not on Dallas.
Thanks for the call, Dave. Appreciate it. 855-450-3733. John calling in from North Carolina. John, you're on Free Talk Live. Oops, I pushed the wrong button. Oh, my goodness, I hung up on that guy. John, my apologies. Brett, let's go back to...
What did he want to talk about? We could get the discussion going, and he could try to get back in.
I can't remember. It was it's right up there on it. It's with the thing, and it erased it when it did it. Well, he'll call back. He'll call back if he really wants to talk, and he'll have my deepest apology at the time. So we were talking about government school in here, and you were saying that essentially, if you had to pick a time when kids would go to school, that you would wait until the very end. You'd send them for like high school as opposed to early on and that sort of thing. What do you think that kids get out of their youngest years when it comes to sort of homeschooling or unschooling or whatever it might be that works for them?
I think a lot of it is the momentum and the confidence as an independent learner, and they get to experience some success on their own. And, the physical part of it is really important as well, that they are liberated to move around, to explore. Whenever I worked with unschooled kids who were, home during the day, they wanted to go outside and move.
Well, mine certainly does. He likes to spend some time going out and jumping up and down on the trampoline. Free Talk Live.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad Gravity System. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
Advertising your business with GCN is simple, effective,
and more affordable than you might think.
Visit advertise.gcnlive.com for more info. Take your business to the next level. That's advertise.gcnlive.com.
In an emergency, you need a fire now. But what if the wood is wet? No problem for InstaFire. Our non-toxic fire starter packs lights wet wood, floats, and can even burn on water or in any weather. Sustains winds up to 30 miles per hour, and each pouch weighs only 1.75 ounces. Need an emergency or camp stove? Get the InstaFire Inferno stove that boils 20 ounces of water in under 3 minutes with controllable heat and temps from 425 to 1500 degrees. Free shipping. Go to instafire.com and use discount code RADIO30 up to 3 times for 30% off your order. InstaFire. Fire in an instant.
The warning signs.
At first, he made me feel special. He promised he'd look after me, provide for my future. He broke every promise he made.
Millions of Americans afflicted.
I was ready to leave, but he told me he'd change. So I gave him another chance. I was such a fool.
The consequences.
Things only got worse. He started making my decisions for me, about my job, my kids' education, my money, my safety, my future. He took away my choices, but I kept going back to the same politicians.
The diagnosis? Battered voter syndrome.
I fell for the same old lies. They were just playing with my emotions, telling me what I wanted to hear. That's not right.
If you're tired of the two-party system but want to support a principled Libertarian Party, check out the Libertarian Party of New Hampshire at lpnh.org. That's lpnh.org. Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
Free Talk Live. It's the live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
Johnny, So Good Ray.
And Brett.
You can call in and talk about whatever's on your mind. Fortunately, John from North Carolina, who I hung up on at the last segment, called back, and we'll see whether or not he forgives me. But nonetheless, if he has turned into a raving madman, I have the Blink home security system at my house.
Oh.
That's a segue.
Right.
I got it delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app. It walked me right through the process. It was like 10 minutes to do the whole thing. I got 2 cameras. You, dear reader, dear listener, you will get 3 of them. if you order, but it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the cameras. All I have to do is, if I want to check in, maybe I want to see how my dog's doing right now. I can go right now. I can see what's going on at my house.
You fire up the app.
Yep, fire up the app and
get a picture.
Look. Yep,
That's
No,
cool.
get video and audio.
Wow,
I can listen. If they're talking about me, right? My mother and my wife right now packing their things to go down to Florida, talking about what a self-righteous jerk I am. I could listen.
Creepy.
Indeed.
Wow. But useful.
And indeed, all I have to do is use the app, and it's real easy. And we've got you a deal here. You can get 3 Blink cameras for what the other guys charge for 1. Just visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL. And you can get the same system I've got. It's awesome. I recommend it highly. blinkprotect.com/FTL. John in North Carolina. This is the right button. John, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, no worries.
Thank you.
Hey, my understanding of cryptocurrency and Bitcoin is that it's an alternative to the Federal Reserve System, which has a monopoly on currency. So this is maybe kind of a weird analogy, but what would an equivalent alternative to the music industry monopoly be, other than like crowdfunding or Kickstarter or something like that? Because if you want to be as well known as possible as a musician and make as much money as you can selling your craft, you don't really have that many options now without going through some monopoly person that has all the clout and power and money.
Okay, so I'm not an expert in the music industry at all, but I'm in talk radio, and even for talk radio, I'm still out of the loop because I sit out here in Keene, New Hampshire, and we self-syndicate. So It's not like all the talk show hosts just file through my studio and I get to talk to them or anything. But there's a few stories, a few rags to riches stories out there, and then back to rags in the case of MC Hammer. He managed to do it by creating, he burned CDs, he did shows, and then he sold CDs and that sort of thing. I feel like today that probably just as many bands make it by having a SoundCloud account, MySpace account, something like that.
I would think so.
Yeah.
Doing live shows, good live shows that energize the people and make them curious for more. And of course, you have to have a bedrock of good quality music.
You've got to be, you got to be a good business person too. You can't be putting it up your nose or drinking yourself into oblivion. Those sorts of things. Unless that's a particular genre of music you do, maybe that's good for you. I don't know.
So if you're handing out CDs on the street to people today, you're a lunatic. But you can use YouTube the same way to advertise your music. And then I think a lot of people, if they're really talented and they can build a following that way, they could probably rake it in somewhere like Patreon.
Yeah. And, well, it's in the local music scenes, too. So if your local music scene is somewhat, let's say, anti-libertarian, and they don't like you, I've seen people blacklisted without them ever even knowing they're blacklisted. They just, it's hard to tell whether they're not calling you back or they just don't want to book you because you don't have a certain political philosophy.
So there are very few, quote-unquote, libertarian bands out there.
Yeah.
But there are a lot of libertarians. People call in, people ask on Facebook all of the time. They're looking for those libertarian bands. And, Jordan Page is out there, and people will tell you Rush is libertarian, and I'm fine with that. I don't care one way or the other. It's not going to make me like Rush anymore. I just it doesn't gel with me, whatever.
Eric July.
I'm not familiar with Eric July, but great. There's a man named John Ritter, Ringer, that I think he did a great song. But I think that there's a totally space in the niche for libertarian artists right now. Absolutely. But I think you have to reach out to those libertarian communities. I think you've got to go to the Libertarian Party conventions. You've got to go to Freedom Fest. You got to do these things and figure out ways that you can play. Will Freedom Fest let you on the stage? Well, from what I've seen on the stage, I think you could. I think it could happen, but you got to be dedicated. You got to be interested in that crowd. You got to show that crowd that this is what you're in it for. And if you're in it for that reason, I think you could totally do it.
And there's not a lot of competition, right? Like if you're in Austin, I mean, Austin, Texas has a great music scene, but there's tons of competition there. And you're right, if your politics don't line up with theirs, you could certainly wind up with no access to any stage time.
Outside the city limits.
But if you took it to more libertarian or libertarian-friendly venues, suddenly you have almost no competition and people who are going to be really receptive to the music, the message, and to the idea of helping you, I think.
Yeah, I guess it's like Bitcoin or anything else. It's going to grow slowly and catch on.
Yeah, I think you have to stick with it too. I mean, it's not the kind of thing that you can just plop down and play a set and people just swoon at your feet. It's going to take years to be an overnight success.
Probably take some practice too to break out of the mindset, because I think it could be a really damaging mindset that like, oh well, the music industry is against me and they only like Jay-Z, Illuminati stuff, and my local music scene is against me because they're all a bunch of liberals or social justice warriors or whatever. Like those two frames of mind are not really like setups for success. So committing to finding your own way of projecting your voice or your message or your music, I think is really important, and not seeing yourself as an outsider or somebody who's been done wrong by whatever the powers are in that field.
You've got to build, totally, Brett. You've got to build a base before you use your music to outreach to people. You could do it if you're wealthy and you don't care, but I think that the best thing to do is to build the base and then have the base help you spread your music around after you've built that base, after you've got that group of people that's passionate about your music. And again, not being a music kind of guy, I think that those are the best advice I can give you.
Absolutely.
Great.
There's
Thanks
a
for the
bass
conversation,
joke
guys.
in there somewhere, but I can't pull it together fast enough.
Stay in touch,
Thanks
John.
for the conversation, guys.
Yep.
See you soon.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Brett Venat, School Sucks Across America tour from School Sucks Project. You are an expert in sort of educational alternatives. If parents are sitting there, they think to themselves, I hate that I'm sending my kid to the government school, but I really don't feel like I've got other options. They send the school bus right by the house. Where our lives are set up around that. I or my spouse can't take off of work. Those kind of things. What's the best advice you have for them?
Well, I mean, I think it takes a willingness from all parties involved. I have a brother who has that very attitude about the schools. He couldn't convince his son, who was really, really struggling in school, to leave school. And I gave him a list of other options, a virtual online charter school that could speed him right through what he needed to graduate or get a GED. And it just wasn't attractive. And that was actually relates to your other question.
How old was he?
17.
Yeah.
And where did he want to? Where do you think he wanted to be all day?
I think he wanted to be at school.
Yeah.
Yeah. He wanted to be where the other kids were. Like the Stockholm syndrome at that point. If you would have asked me at the same time, I would have said the same thing.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to be there because with those other people with whom I have this sort of relationship with, those other kids, even though we all together hated it.
Right. Well, and for him, getting baked in the parking lot and then going inside and getting D's is not like tremendous work. It might beat the alternative of having to take your own path.
Indeed, but it was a little bit more work, right?
Yeah.
855-450-3733. Free Talk Live.
From the second letter of Captain Mark. Any pirate knows that commerce is communication. Markets condense oceans of information into a single price. Innovations in communication are circumventing the scrutiny of the Crown. This signals a change in the coin of the realm. The Crown uses digital currency to surveil, censor, seize, and destroy wealth at will, so pirate currency must protect us from this weaponized money. We need to move funds further, faster, cheaper, and without third-party observation, basing decisions on an accelerating flow of information. So pirates require nearly instantaneous transactions with no arbitrary limits on volume or artificial influences on fees. Most importantly, a pirate currency must preclude centralization. Otherwise, it will become another link in our chain to the Crown. A superior currency will result in the obsolescence of the coin of the realm and the extinction of the Crown itself. Trade above the grid. Join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
With nearly 70 years of history engineering bunkers, today, Atlas Survival Shelters is still the authority. Atlas offers 18 different choices, from commercial tornado shelters to underground nuclear fallout shelters, starting at just $99.99 with 100% financing available, comfortable interiors, and state-of-the-art air filtration systems. Atlas Survival Shelters are the most popular private survival shelters in the world. Call 1-855-4BUNKER now or visit atlassurvivalshelters.com.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the highest quality body armor, period. Why would you go anywhere else? Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Go to KDArmor.com. That's CATI Armor.com.
ProPure water filters. Most trusted, most tested. Right now, you can save 25% on the ProPure Nomad Gravity System. Visit an authorized ProPure dealer for details. That's PROPUR.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project early movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about what's on your mind here on this live edition of Free Talk Live. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. You've probably heard about Bitcoin. At this point, its market penetration as far as name recognition is pretty high. Now, if you don't know what Bitcoin is, probably the best place to go do your research is bitcoin.com. They are the one-stop shop, whether you're an expert or first-day noob, for finding a wallet, for getting the facts. You can call in and ask a question to us, but we can't spend the kind of time with you that you can spend researching at bitcoin.com. In fact, if you care about mining, they have a project over there called pool.bitcoin.com, and you can choose to mine Bitcoin or Bitcoin Cash, or you can set the account to mine whichever one's profitable. You can help steer Bitcoin towards the liberating currency that Satoshi Nakamoto meant it to be simply by getting involved over at bitcoin.com. They got a forum there, too, bitcoin.com. Brett, we've talked a great deal about your sort of thoughts on alternative education. I know you're on the School Sucks School Sucks Across America tour is what you're calling this.
Begins right here, believe it or not.
Yes, thank you for. Why'd you pick Free Talk Live?
Oh, do you really want to get into that?
Briefly.
I don't want to be super sappy about it, but I think you guys are very heroic what you've done, and this show was.
I think you're right.
Great. I'm glad you agreed with me. That's saved us an awkward moment.
I'd say pioneering. I don't know about heroic.
No, I think that that what these guys have accomplished here is super impressive. And this show was incredibly influential for me. This was my first introduction to libertarianism. It happened just at the right time for me. It motivated me to move back to New Hampshire. Doing so over the course of the next decade created tons of opportunities with like-minded people. I was able to start my own show. A few years later, I got a bunch of support with that.
A few years? I thought it was.
I moved in 2007, and I started the show in 2009. But I credit you guys a lot for projecting this message. And I think at the time I was just, I was listening to like Coast to Coast Radio, and I was probably looking for like new 9/11 conspiracy theory podcasts or something. And then I started listening to these guys, and it was quite shocking when I first heard Mark and Ian, especially Ian. But I thought this was an appropriate place to launch the tour.
The purpose of Mark on the show is to simply give somebody who's shocked by Ian a place to sit, right? This is like the dirty little secret of Free Talk Live is whoa. Mark's political opinions in and of themselves are radical.
Right.
But next to Ian's, they're a safe little log in the flotsam, among the flotsam and jetsam to hold on to,
Right. And I was really energized, and I got really radical really fast to the point where you annoyed me. And sometimes you would say these minarchist small government things. I just would want to unplug my iPod.
I still say them.
Throw it out the window.
Yep,
Mark.
Well, that's fine by me. And what... If you get caught up in the professional wrestling aspect of Free Talk Live,
yes,
where Ian and Mark, go back and forth, look, it's not like I've never been caught up in it. Check out YouTube. Mark flips out on Ian or something.
I was there. I was actually. That was like a real moment for me. Like this show that had been so inspirational. I got to be there the night where the most viral video was created.
Absolutely. But you see Brett shrinking into the corner in that video, and it is well worth seeing. So, Brett, you said you were a conspiracy theorist, and I've always believed that a little bit about you.
Right.
What was it like for you listening to Free Talk Live, especially back then? We spent a lot more time on conspiracy theories because we would get a lot more calls surrounding
9/11 was hot. Chemtrails.
Yep, chemtrails, 9/11, pretty much everything. What was it like for you believing some, any, or all of that stuff and hearing Free Talk Live basically bat it down over and over?
It took the wind out of my sails for sure, but
wind regarding listening to the show or wind regarding...
regarding conspiracy theories.
Okay.
And part of me didn't like it because I think, people want to believe certain things so they can have this, I always refer to it as I know something you don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think, chemtrails really delivers, 9/11 really delivers that. But a lot of political things can give people that, right? Like people want to flex these muscles and show that they know things or show that they're intellectually superior.
Yeah.
So I found
here's a phrase. If you feel that way, here's a phrase for you. Taxation is theft. And that way, whenever you have a conversation, bam, you can just hit them with taxation as theft.
Right. But whatever, that's a good point, too, because whatever, going and preaching about 9/11 was giving me, libertarianism gives it to you, too, right? You're super superior.
If you convince somebody on 9/11, what have you got? Another person who believes about 9/11.
Right.
If you convince them on libertarianism, you've got a person who now believes in the non-aggression principle. You have actually quantifiably reduced violence in the world.
And it's like Harry Brown said. He said, just, project these ideas wherever you can, because you never know how somebody's going to take the things that you say and figure out a new way to run with them and do something meaningful with things they learned from you. So if you think about what you guys are doing at Free Talk Live, that led to me doing what I'm doing. I've been very happy to hear that people who listen to my show went on to start their own podcasts. And I think that's great. And I hope that continues as long as people have a message and a way to make it entertaining, that they'll do that.
Let's go to Jonny calling in from Auburn. Jonny, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hello?
Hello.
Hello, this is Johnny Micah.
All right, Johnny Micah, what's on your mind?
Well, listen, I want to talk about autism.
Okay.
I'm autistic.
All right.
I wrote a book about it called The Autistic Holocaust. I'm not selling my book.
I believe you mentioned that. Go ahead.
I won't mention it again. That's the last you'll ever hear about it.
Well,
I want to talk about people who are discriminated and who aren't even diagnosed until they're 30 years old.
Okay.
I want to talk about the fact that the government, we talked about conspiracy a few minutes ago. Well, there is a conspiracy, and there's truth to every conspiracy. The government has lied to us. They falsify documentation. They burn evidence, and they lie about the facts.
How so?
I want to talk about the government hiding the truth about autism. That's what I want to talk about.
How do they hide the truth about autism?
Because they fudge the numbers. They lie about statistics from the federal government. The federal government gets information from the pharmaceutical companies.
Do they inflate the numbers? Do they inflate the numbers, or they understate them?
They completely misrepresent. They completely misrepresent the safety and efficacy of these vaccines that get stuck into our kids, that harm our kids. There's an inexplicable association between autism and neurological disorders and the vaccination schedule we have currently, sir. There's over 5,000 studies to prove so, and I will not be quiet, and I will keep talking until the truth is told and be known.
What's the motive for hiding this?
The motive is because the pharmaceutical companies make trillions of dollars off of our sickness, and they keep us getting sicker and sicker and sicker, and they want to poison our kids in the name of profit. Why are any wars started? For the same reason, over resources and finances.
So
that's why.
The vaccination autism connection, I must say, is a very contentious one.
You're right.
And Johnny,
I couldn't agree more, sir.
You have you have a special sort of connection, being claiming to be autistic, and I'll take your word for it, having an author of a book.
So is my son. Sir. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, are your sons vaccinated?
My son went through a schedule of vaccines, was responsible for his injury. And because of that series of vaccinations injury, he suffered a neurological disorder, which fell on the autism spectrum disorder scale. And they removed his definition from the DSM-5. In fact, there's no more such thing as Asperger's. Right now, 226,000 kids can't get the needed services they need under the Child Health Care Act, the Affordability Act. They can't get it because they removed it from the definition. Thank you very much.
When did this happen?
Yeah, I mean,
this happened 2 years ago, sir. They changed the definition. When they went from the DR4 text revised to the DM5, they removed that definition, and now hundreds and thousands of kids are getting screwed.
Is that just in this country, or is that
That's
sort of
just in this country. That's just in this country, and it's a crime. It's a crime, sir.
So if you go to Canada, for instance, they still call Asperger's part of the autism spectrum, right?
Now you're under your whole other IUD now. There's a whole other scale now. You got to go by the DSM-5, which 1980 defined the first. In 1980, the DSM-3 first recognized autism as a disorder. And then they had the European version of that, which recognized it before we did. But, this is worldwide. The prevalence rate, right now, there's 1 out of every 68 kids have autism in the United States. It should be 1 out of every 10,000. Senator Dan Burton's son was injured by that. He was Congressman chair of the OCGR. And by the way, his son got autism as a result of a series of 9 shots in one day. Okay? Talk about Hannah Pauling, who got a $1.5 million award. The names, the list, they go on and on and on. People don't know this, and I'm telling you, people need to know this, and people need to stop vaccinating their kids in this harmful way. In China, they don't even do this until you're 2.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-557-0158. That's 800-557-0158. Again, 800-557-0158.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, October 15th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.41 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,304 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,494. Antiwar.com reports Catalan President Carles Puigdemont is struggling to navigate a growing political storm following the suspended Declaration of Independence and Spain's issuing of an ultimatum demanding he formally disavow it. Puigdemont is now facing mounting pressure from his main political allies within Catalonia, who want an immediate declaration of independence without any further delays. Spain has threatened to arrest Puigdemont if he tries that, and has threatened to seize all of Catalonia under direct rule. Spain's ultimatum deadline is fast approaching, and Puigdemont's call for talks does not seem to be getting much support anywhere, with Spain ruling out talks and Catalan officials saying there's nothing left to talk about. Some EU officials have cautioned Puigdemont against moving forward, and while that has apparently raised some hope of mediation talks, it's not clear there are people interested in attending such talks, even if the EU were to offer. On October 1st, Catalonia voted overwhelmingly in favor of secession. Spanish police cracked down on voters, injuring over 800. Spain has insisted the vote does not count, while Catalan voters held massive rallies to protest the violence. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. UPI reports a report that online retail giant Amazon is eyeing an entry into the prescription drug sales market since shares tumbling for brick-and-mortar drugstore chains Walgreens and CVS on Friday. Amazon has been rumored to be considering a move into the drugstore business for months, though a report released by healthcare analyst Leerink earlier this month said it's highly likely Amazon will open a prescription drug delivery business sometime in the next 2 years. Representatives from Amazon declined to comment on the report. CNBC previously reported the company is expected to make a decision on whether to pursue a prescription drug sales strategy before Thanksgiving. Though Amazon has a lucrative history of disrupting other sectors of the U.S. economy, including electronics, houseware, media, and groceries, a move into the lucrative $560 billion per year prescription drug industry would be more difficult, according to experts. Drug sales are highly regulated by the FDA, making it likely Amazon would have to partner with an existing provider rather than start its own business from scratch. It would not, however, be the first time Amazon dipped its toes into the healthcare marketplace. In 1999, Amazon purchased the online drug sales site Drugstore.com. After failing to garner a significant share of the market, Amazon eventually sold Drugstore.com to Walgreens in 2011. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports 18 U.S. states sued President Donald Trump's administration on Friday to stop him from scrapping a key component of Obamacare, subsidies to insurers that help millions of low-income people pay medical expenses, even as Trump invited Democratic leaders to negotiate a deal. One day after his administration announced plans to end the payments next week, Trump said he would dismantle Obamacare step by step. His latest action raised concerns about chaos in insurance markets. The subsidies cost $7 billion this year, and according to congressional analysts, were estimated to be $10 billion for 2018. Trump's action took aim at a critical element of the 2010 law, his Democratic predecessor Barack Obama's signature domestic policy achievement. Frustrated by the failure of his fellow Republicans, who control both houses of Congress, to repeal and replace Obamacare, Trump has taken several steps to chip away at it. Democratic attorneys general from 18 states, as well as Washington, D.C., filed a lawsuit in federal court in California asking the court to force Trump to make the next payment. Legal experts said the states were likely to face an uphill battle in court. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Studies show that more and more teenagers are leaving Facebook, but where are they going instead? Apparently to the hottest new social media site in years, the comments section of this YouTube video of a deer running in slow motion. Already, its comment section is seeing over 30 million active users. Facebook isn't giving up so easily, incorporating images and videos of deer, elk, reindeer, and even moose into their layout. But teens say that misses the point entirely. In fact, the site's one unwritten rule: don't post anything about the video itself. Teens say that's not cool. But with more and more people swapping over to the comments section of the slow motion deer video by the day, some trend watchers warn it may begin going the way of Facebook.
I was obsessed with it for a while, but now it's just boring. I'm probably going to switch over to Happy Fast Kitchen.
While we don't know for sure, we believe Happy Fast Kitchen might refer to the Yelp page for a Chinese food restaurant in Cleveland, the new social media site where musician Skrillex recently dropped his latest album.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind this Sunday edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Johnny Ray.
And Brett.
I didn't tell anybody where Ian is, and there's probably people that are wondering that. And at this point, if you're a podcast listener, you've gotten in 2/3 of the show and haven't got that answer yet. Ian and Daryl are being maybe honored. They're certainly at the NHCLU's annual dinner.
The New Hampshire Civil Liberties Union.
Thank you. I think that people would know, but maybe not. Maybe not. Yeah, the New Hampshire Civil Liberties Union, they go every year, and it's fine. And so here we are. We got the B crew. Brett Venat from School Sucks Project is kicking off his School Sucks Across America tour right here in the studio that of the show that brought these ideas to him. Thank you for coming.
Right. B crew is B Brett? Or is B like a substandard, or what is B in the B crew?
Just behind A.
Okay.
So you're going across America on this this School Sucks Across America tour. What are your hopes and goals for this tour? That's how long is it?
40 days.
Okay.
The number one
reason. How long Jesus spent out in the desert?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But that's unrelated. Okay. And I was just doing it as a personal challenge. And then I said, well, I could publicize this, and it would be a really good opportunity to meet the people who've been listening to and supporting my show for 8 years now.
Yeah.
And a lot of these people, we did an event in Salem, Massachusetts. It was called Renegade University and School Sucks Project Present a Weekend with Thaddeus Russell. So Thaddeus Russell is an author and an academic, and he's
on the show a lot.
My show, yeah.
Your show.
He's been on my show about 20 times.
And he's great.
Yeah, he's a very interesting guy. He's a polarizing and controversial figure. He was kicked out of Columbia University many years ago because they didn't like his politics. And
his politics are...
He's of the left family.
Yep.
But he is really drawn to, since about, I think, 2013, he's been really drawn to libertarians. But he thinks people are kind of doing libertarianism wrong. And, one of the things that he liked when he first came here was like the libertinism of, people smoking pot in a hotel at what's the event called? The Liberty Forum. Right. So he got on stage and congratulated people for, smoking. I mean, he was like a Trump-like polarizing figure, right? He gets on stage at Liberty Forum and congratulates people for smoking pot in the hotel. So the private property people are not huge fans of that. But it led to a lot of really interesting conversations on my show. So he and I have worked together since. I think it's really, really interesting to have an academic who is continuously willing to question his own thinking, even though that's a terribly inconvenient and even dangerous thing to do in academia.
It is. It's inconvenient in life. It would be really nice to sort of nail down ideas and really get them solid. But if you're constantly asking yourself these questions over and over again and looking for new, better answers, you have to change the way you think. I mean, truth is well obscured because lies are dressed as the truth. Lies would be of no use if they looked like lies, right? The untruth. I'm using the term lies to just describe untruths, right?
Right.
If lies looked like lies, then no one would believe them. But they look like the truth, and we're told the truth, and we're inculcated with them in many cases. And so it takes a lot to tear out each one of these things and get to the core of it and like, oh, this is a lie.
Yeah.
And then, go after the next one and the next one. And the truth is painful. It's venomous to the lies that we've been told throughout our lives. Because when you get a piece of truth, that venom that the truth has kills the lie that you've believed up to that point. And that's not comfortable. It's painful. It hurts.
But you can make a plausible argument for any position whatsoever. And the example that I always think of is that war is good for the economy.
Yeah.
And it's simply not, you're blowing things up, and people who are the creators of wealth and the things that drive the creation of wealth, you're destroying them. That's the whole point of war.
Right. But we're told in school all the time, World War II got us out of the Depression. Like, that's what they say. And how in the world could that possibly have been the case? Tell you what, if you're having money troubles at your house right now, go out to your car and smash in the windshield. Because that will get you out of your money troubles.
Yeah, but
while you're at it, slash your tires. If you really want to have a good time with and make a lot of money, slash your tires while you're at it.
But you're taking the logic of one situation and applying it to one that's more practical. And what's really, I think the point here is that myth is extremely useful because it creates a positive orientation for many people towards war.
Yeah.
Which is very, very good for, the finances of certain people.
Sure.
And if you can
war is great for some people.
Yeah, exactly.
People who make the weapons of war.
Absolutely. And the banks who lend the money.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But interestingly, the United States was deep in wars, then had the Great Recession. I mean, it's not like you can show people, the correlation here. Whatever. We were supposed to get lower oil prices. The price of gasoline went up.
Right. So these kinds of revelations are minor league compared to what's in the book Renegade History of the United States, which was Thaddeus's book that I read. And it really blew my mind. It's a cultural history of the United States. So we did this event in August. It was a huge success. We did it in Salem, Massachusetts, because it has a lot of renegade themes, pirates and witches and the Puritans. Fun. And some of the stories that listeners shared just about changes they had made in their lives, from the things they had learned on School Sucks, or just from deciding to take charge of their own education to not attend college, it really moved me, and it really moved Thaddeus as well. So first of all, we said we should do another one of these events as soon as possible. We're doing one in L.A. at Reason Magazine headquarters, November 10th through the 12th.
That'll be fun.
Absolutely. And then I said, well, I could probably, in addition to challenging myself to and having an adventure at a time where I really need to kind of break out of a comfort zone, which is a very important thing to do, I could probably also go along the way in a car, meet dozens of people, hold mini events along the way, and collect some of these stories that I think a lot of people in the audience would find really inspirational, and would also probably help me re-energize myself about this message. I've been doing this for almost a decade, and I could use, a good kick. And I think hearing stories from all of these people who successfully implemented these things is a great way to do that.
You know what's hard, and I think you'll agree with me on this, is, I do nationally syndicated radio program on the ideas of liberty day in and day out, and keeping to the basics. Because we have new people who are finding our work all the time. Me through the radio and through podcast, you through podcast at schoolsucksproject.com. And these people are at the starting point all the time, but they may not get that starting point podcast, right? They may be getting you doing the advanced work, the sophomore work, the junior work, the senior work, or whatever, and not that freshman work that they might have needed at that given time. It's hard to go back all the time and do that freshman work.
Yeah.
Because you have moved beyond it. You want new things for you.
Yeah, and it's also like if you repeat yourself to yourself, you feel like everybody else has heard that 1,000 times as well. So I do always want to keep that conversation moving forward, or I get off the main message of the show because my attention gets diverted into all of these things. So many exciting things happening in higher education right now. Good God. Can
you briefly go over them?
Oh, I just mean all of these campus culture conflicts, at Berkeley, at Yale, Mizzou.
Social babies confronting the real world.
Safe spaces, and a lot of and even the growth of something like Antifa, which has its roots in academia and things kids are told by college professors and in a kind of ideology. But
college professors are now saying things like, whoa, I can't give you a trigger warning on every novel we read, you bunch of little crybabies.
Some are, and they're being chastised for doing that.
Yeah, in many cases they are.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. It makes somebody like me just say, America's doomed. What do you think? 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Is America doomed? I got my Blink home security system delivered right to my door. I downloaded the app and it walked me right through the easy setup. Even with my complicated router system, I was done in 10 minutes. Now it notifies me whenever something moves in front of the wireless cameras, or I can just check it whenever I want right from my phone. And I got you a deal. Get 3 Blink cams for what the other guys charge you for 1, plus an extra 10% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. 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 The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Earlier this year, after many years of conflict over the direction of Bitcoin, the creators of Bitcoin Cash did just what they were told to do. They forked off. Now there are 2 Bitcoins, the one that is run by the big bank patsies, and Bitcoin Cash, the one that stays true to the creator's vision. Bitcoin Cash has surprised many with its relevancy and staying power, and the price reflects it. If you believe that Bitcoin was meant to be a low-cost, easy-to-use, peer-to-peer currency that could bring economic freedom to the world, you need Bitcoin Cash. Get your Bitcoin Cash wallet right now at bitcoin.com.
Dash is digital cash, a digital currency designed to replace cash and help people manage their own wealth. It's fast and easy, fees are low, and transactions are confirmed instantly. Pay anyone, anywhere in the world, anytime, for just pennies on the dollar. Dash is the first digital money that's governed by its users. Join Dash and help us build a better financial system for everyone. Find out more at dash.org. That's dash.org.
Email is easy, instant, and free, and that can be real embarrassing. Email lacks the eye contact and body language you get in face-to-face conversation, or the tone of voice and other nuance you hear in a telephone conversation. Email is just words, often few words. We're all smothering in spam, so we often reply in terse fashion that's easy to misunderstand. And email doesn't cost you a postage stamp, and it lacks the deliberation vacation time it'd take to walk to the snail mail box. So it's easy to succumb to the "oh yeah" stimulus response trap. When in doubt, don't snap back at snippy messages you get. You may have mistaken the sender's intent. And unless you're sending AOL to AOL, there's no unsend. For more tips on critical communication skills for the way things are now, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
You may already know about the Free Talk Live audio-on-demand phone line at 641-793-9660. Did you know that not only can you listen to Free Talk Live via your phone, you can also leave a message and have it delivered to Free Talk Live's hosts? To leave us your thoughts, just dial 641-793-9660. That's 641-793-9660. Press 2 for Free Talk Live, and then hit 0 to leave your message.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, and you can call in and talk about whatever is on your mind. This live edition of Free Talk Live. It's Mark with you.
Johnny Ray.
And Brett.
So, every night you lay your head on a pillow. And that pillow, well, I mean, think about it. You wash your sheets. You wash your pillowcase. Do you wash your pillow? I love My Pillow, and the reason, this is the name brand, My Pillow. The reason is not only does it hold your head at the right position, and this is important. If you get headaches, place number one to start is your pillow, because it's quite possible that just the position of your neck, if you got neck pain or headaches and that kind of thing, just the position of your neck overnight is the issue. If you've got a down pillow, I'm going to go right now and say throw that garbage away and get a hold of them at mypillow.com, code FTL. We've got a 2-for-1 offer for you there at mypillow.com, code FTL. But what I love about My Pillow is you can wash it. Ever tried to wash a down pillow? Thing's going to be full of mold. mypillow.com, coupon code FTL for the best pillow I've ever experienced, and I think for you too. As a matter of fact, it's so good, I went and used that coupon code to buy them for the in-laws, or my wife bought them for her parents, I guess is probably a more accurate way to discuss it. My mother got a My Pillow. My son has their little travel pillow for him. His head's a little smaller. These things come in certain sizes so that you can get the right one for you. Everybody in my house except my dog has a My Pillow. mypillow.com, code FTL.
My whole life I've been getting little feathers stuck in my neck, the quill end of the down, and it is kind of a 19th century technology, isn't it? A bag stuffed with animal
bits,
waste.
Let's go to Smoke calling in from Auburn. Smoke, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Hey, what's on your mind?
Yeah, it was actually not much on my mind, but I figured I'd call and ask a couple questions and see what you thought.
Fire away,
sure. The first one was, and you heard it before, you ever heard of a multiverse theory?
Can you just give us a synopsis of what it is?
From my understanding, it's the ideation that there's multiple happenings that are not your actual reality. Like, there could be a you on the same planet Earth or even another planet in another existence that is outside of our actual universe.
Okay, so multiple universes.
Like sliders.
Yeah. You almost killed me there, because I was going to ask you if you had an idea of what it was, or if
I got an idea.
I that was pretty much the sense of it that I had. Is there news or what's happening? What's the question?
Actually, I have a bet with somebody, and I was just asking if you personally have ever heard of it.
Yes.
Me? Wait, who personally? Me, Brett, or Mark?
You, multiple people. How many people are there that can hear me right now?
In this universe, 3.
In this universe, 3. And in the 3 of you in this universe, as you're understanding, you all have heard of this.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, that's 4 people. I made a bet with somebody that if I could get 5 people to say they've heard of it, I get a kitchen table.
A kitchen table?
Yeah, I told him I'm going to destroy it in his front yard for being a dumbass.
Wow, you should eat on the table. I mean, destroying something that somebody spent time to produce. Oh man, you should just eat. You get a nice kitchen table and eat on it, and invite your friend over.
I believe in a.
That'd be nice.
In a creator.
I should take it home and invite him over to eat off of it.
That's right. Yeah.
All right.
Thanks for the call, Smoke. Appreciate it.
And the this creator is he's perfect, and there's only one way that it can be. So I don't believe in a multiverse.
Well, how about this for a possible multiverse? Now, I've heard a few different theories on a multiverse, right? One of them is that it's essentially like pages in time, right? So we are passing currently through the multiverse, but there's another one right 1 second. A second's an arbitrary bit of measurement, so I couldn't tell you how far they are behind me.
An instant.
Yeah, and you know, there's infinite pages in this book, and if it's like a flip book, essentially, any one instance is a universe, but that it's traveling through time at the same speed, but they're all traveling in time through the same speed, one instant behind each other, if that makes sense.
Sequentially, conveniently.
Yeah, and so then you have an infinite number of universes without having the situation where I was born, a woman, a merengue dancer, with a hat full of fruit. Right? Like, it doesn't have to be just because there's infinite possibilities does not mean that everything happened.
Right. So, I mean, where does this theory even come from? Do we know? Is it the idea that every time there's a decision point, or every time there can be any kind of either or, that the universe splits and a new universe where the other choice happens is created? I don't know.
I don't know either. I've heard that same. That's the other theory that I've heard too. Is that when a decision comes, that changes things up. Let's go to Daryl calling in from Austin. Daryl, you're on Free Talk Live.
Yes, I believe you had a question. Is the United States doomed because of the complete, because of stuff going on in the colleges?
Well, I don't think.
Well, I think
before you go on,
let
me edit it. I probably think the United States is doomed for a variety of reasons. But when I hear about these college students and the way they think, which is so completely different than me, it just says, like, deep in my soul, something says, "Run away from America!" Right? Like I don't understand, and they scare me so much. It must be total primal fear. Go ahead, Daryl.
Yeah, well, I think the colleges may be doomed, because some of these colleges where it's completely just insane, their enrollment is down because no one wants to go to a place where you can't even argue the simplest things. On the other hand, the United States, I think, is doomed for a number of reasons. Number two, you have states that are defying the federal government on several issues. You have a few states that are working on leaving the union. There's a point where, there's either a point to where once the country reaches the point of no return, I mean, it's going to start falling apart.
So you're in Auburn. Are you in Auburn, Alabama?
No, I'm in Austin, Texas.
Oh, okay. I heard. Well, that's a college town too, isn't it?
Probably multiple colleges.
Yeah.
It's a well, actually, we have it's a college town and a state capital and a tech center now.
Ah, yes. So how is the culture there? I know there's different groups that are definitely butting heads.
It's weird. I know that much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Alex, the funny part is you have the University of Texas, which is very much on the left wing.
Yeah.
You have St. Edward's University, which is a Catholic university, so it's it's obviously a lot less left. There's one called, you probably never heard of it, called Houston Tilliston University. You'll see the signs for it, when you're coming into downtown.
But specifically, like the culture downtown.
Culture is very liberal, very laid back. very, you have the government wants to spend money on everything, so that people think it's okay, which most of us don't.
Sure.
It's kind of, the people are nice. You probably have some of the fittest people in the country here. There's a lot of outdoorsy stuff.
Yeah,
People
I
are
loved
very
Austin when I was
health-conscious.
there. There was a lot of opportunities to exercise. Daryl, I thank you for the call.
Dr. Carolyn Dean wants you to have a free chapter of her new book, The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition, and it's available at magmiracle.com. In your free chapter, Dr. Carolyn Dean explains how magnesium is essential to support the structure and function and overall health of your body. Your free chapter is your guide to learn how to support your heart, bone, metabolic, lung, and mental health with this powerful mineral. The Magnesium Miracle 2nd Edition is available on Amazon, but right now get a free chapter at magmiracle.com, spelled M-A-G, miracle.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Free Talk Live.
Wait till you hear the least popular girl's name for 2004. We'll start with Rack.
Rack.
Crumpet.
Well, Crumpet's kind of funny.
Someone named their little girl Willie. Cannelloni.
Cannelloni.
Lasagna. Tasty. And Biff. Yeah, Biff. The
These
least
are girls'
popular name.
names?
the least popular name.
These
of
are all made up,
2004.
folks.
I
Do
don't
not
care.
believe this nonsense. This is not news.
I don't care. I haven't laughed this much all week.
Oh.
This may be my favorite. Rumpy Pumpy. Now, how could you think that one up? I mean, if you were faking this list, I could understand that you could fake Donald Duck or Scrooge or pork. But how do you think of Rumpy Pumpy?
Rumpy Pumpy.
R-U-M-P-E-P-U-M-P-E-E. Rumpy Pumpy.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can call in, talk about whatever is on your mind. It's Mark with you.
Johnny Ray.
And Brett.
855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. If you like Free Talk Live, if you're enjoying listening, if you're a podcast listener, maybe you're a regular radio listener, you appointment listen, as so many do, according to our ratings, so many appointment listen, please go to freetalklive.com. Right there, you will find a little fill in the email box for the newsletter, and you will get our very unobtrusive newsletter, and we promise never, ever, ever to sell your information. I can tell you that we promise that because Ian won't let me anywhere near this list. Nowhere near it. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Let's go to Larry calling in from Indiana. Larry, you're on Free Talk Live.
Thank you for taking my call.
You're welcome.
The other night I was listening. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to call that the other night, but you had a couple individuals call in about health care insurance. And I believe, Mark, you said, too, that you carry no health insurance at this time?
That's correct.
Okay. I think that there would be something that could be very beneficial to the residents of New Hampshire, but it may have to be worked through the legislature. I don't know for sure. But I don't know if you've ever heard of something called Atlas MD or a Dr. Umber. I think his name is Josh Umber.
Nope, I don't know anything about it.
Okay, he has something called direct primary care.
Okay.
And what it does is it's got different age groups. Kids can get in for like $10 a month.
Okay.
It's a membership thing.
Subscription based, yeah.
$50. Yeah. Parents $50 a month and adults from 20 to 44. I think 45 to 64. It's $75 a month. 65 and over, it's $100 a month. But they provide a lot of services there, absolutely free.
Or included.
For that membership.
Yeah.
Stitches and things and all this other kind of stuff. They work on a cash basis, though, and it's not deductible, of course. But for a parent and you're married with a child, so for $110 a month, a person could have this care.
We have something very similar to that. There is a free market doctor here in New Hampshire who takes care of lots of the Liberty folks, and she does something very similar to this. So it's not insurance, but it's awesome, and it's all we've needed.
Yeah, and they can have medications for like 2 and 3 cents, for a pill, and EKGs are free. And a lot of things like that too. So this person, I don't know if this other person could set up more clinics, but this person is out of Wichita, Kansas. It's called Atlas MD, and it may help a lot of the residents out there that don't have those the money to pay for these insurance premiums and things. And seeing how that, at least under this current system, that penalty for the mandate for enrollment has been done away with, at least. Individuals that are not able to get that through employers or whatever.
I think the mandate for enrollment's still there. I don't know the specifics. I'm not giving tax advice here, and this would be a better question for Melanie tomorrow night. But my wife and Melanie just did our taxes, and we had to pay something for 2016, I guess.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, for 2016, right?
Okay.
Right. But I believe it's been waived now. I'm not quite sure myself, but it may be beneficial to pursue that, and a lot of these individuals may be able to get that care through them, and they work with employers as well. They can cut the employer insurance programs by using a combination of that and like catastrophic care premiums, which then employers can then, instead of purchasing health care insurance, you can get a catastrophic care for $70 a month to $100 a month.
Yeah, it's a good deal. Thanks for the ideas, Larry. I think I really appreciate that. If you have any other ideas for healthcare, please give us a call. Let's talk to Greg calling in from Auburn. It's an Auburn night here on Free Talk Live. Listen to WAUB. Greg, you're on Free Talk Live. Hey, what's on your mind?
Yes, hi. A little bit about myself. I went to the military for 2 years, got kicked out, and I've had 27 jobs in my life, and I've been fired from all but maybe 1 or 2 of them. And so I have no work history for when I apply for a job, so I am thinking about starting my own business as becoming a dog walker. And so my first goal is, what do I need to do to get my name out there so people recognize who I am and to provide them good business.
Well, I think before you really think about cutting out on your own, maybe we should address the getting fired from every job you've ever had, right? Like, is there something that needs to be addressed there before you try to start your own business and maintain client relationships?
I believe so, of course. But when I worked for somebody for about a year or two, they say, I don't think the boss wants me to jump into their position, because then where are they going to go? So I believe they just let me go, and I don't think I'm doing anything wrong. I love to work. We're all human beings. We have to survive, and I try my hardest. And I think I should relax on that a little bit.
Well, okay, so I'm not sure I followed the explanation there, but what if we just talked about your last three, very briefly for each one, your last three firings? What were the last three reasons you were given for being let go, and what kind of jobs were they?
I was at an Apple factory in Oswego, New York, and I believe they were bought out by a bigger major company, the same ones that own Slim Fast and Gertrude Hawk Chocolate, and the majority of them were foreigners, basically Hispanics and Asians, and there's only probably 5% Americans, and I think that's the reason they let me go. So, but yeah, I mean, my whole work history is off the charts, so I mean, I don't really have any.
What did they tell you? What did they tell you when they let you go? Because they don't. It's not just like you show up one day and the door is locked. Like, you have a conversation with somebody. What did they tell you when
they didn't tell you that they were letting you go because you were white, I assume?
No, I mean, I'll be honest with you, and this is a pretty hard topic for me, but I honestly read online on the internet that a lot of Americans go to work after smoking a little marijuana each morning, right?
All right. Now we're getting somewhere. Sure.
Sure. So the day that I was told to let go, they asked me, "Hey, did you smoke a little weed before work?" And I said, "I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I did." They said, "Well, we're gonna, go home for the day, and we'll call you and let you know what's happening." So, and to be honest with you, ever since I first started that job 9 months prior, I was doing it, and they finally, caught on or whatnot. But before that, I was working. I was doing great. They let me go home early because I was working hard.
How many of your firings do you think were marijuana related?
Probably 95% of that.
Okay. So you need
a job in radio. Or perhaps pizza delivery.
So,
well, hey, yes, if you guys are hiring, I'm 1,000% for it. And if not, then I'll have to move to Washington, California, or somewhere.
All right. So you think dog walking might be a good match for your weed habits? Is that possible?
Do you think? Yeah, I mean, do you guys think so? I mean, they go pretty hand in hand together.
More so than food packing.
Nobody wants a finger in their apples,
Especially if it's your finger. You don't want that.
I think there's a little bit of liability to be concerned about where you are, handling other people's pets. And I think for a lot of people who don't understand, marijuana, the idea of giving, their pet over to a pothead or finding out about that later might be very upsetting, and there could be consequences for that. But I think there's a self-discipline issue here that needs to be addressed.
Greg, I'd love to talk to you more in the future. I really appreciate the call.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Yep, thank you. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. 450. I'm just so amazed that you turned that call around, Brett. I'm sorry.
Crimes of the Crown by Captain Mark. The Crown casts the world in shadow and claims to be our guiding light. Cowards clamor for security from boogeymen and ghost stories, while I say these hobgoblins are imaginary. I say those they propped up as our liberators are now subsisting on our bondage. I say there is freedom in the black, and that's exactly where we intend to go. The Crown banishes its own officers for exposing its crimes and tortures dissidents to the brink of madness. It dominates the globe and swallows the wealth of generations, leaving only blood and excrement. The Crown calls it piracy to explore frontiers beyond its grasp. So the time has come for us to define the conduct among pirates. I say the Crown has trampled our necks long enough. Need decentralized solutions to centralized problems? Looking for a community of like-minded scoundrels? Or just want some swag to let the Crown know what you think of it? Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com. We won't be hard to find.
Google has all but banned the movie series What Would Muhammad Do? It's a brilliant film on the true history and goals of Islam. This is the film Trump's enemies and holdouts from the Obama administration are terrified you will see. Pro-Islamic groups working with Google and other multi-billion-dollar corporations have vowed to suppress the distribution of What Would Muhammad Do? When you see it, you'll understand why. Get your copy while you still can. Order the 4-DVD collection today for $39.95 plus shipping and handling. Or go online and download the entire movie series for just $19.95. But wait, for those who order in the next 30 minutes, we'll throw in a 9-part series on the Muslim Brotherhood absolutely free. Go to wwmdfilm.com or call 304-289-3700 now. That's wwmdfilm.com or call 304-289-3700 now.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
The 3 most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share 1 episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com. There's no better app for tracking the value of cryptocurrencies than CoinCap. I've had a lot of apps for tracking Bitcoin, but none that's ever been able to track 500 digital assets at once. Their best feature is the Altfolio. I love this thing. You enter how many Bitcoins, Ether, Dash, Doge, or whatever else you have, and it tells you how much your crypto is worth. You can watch yourself get rich. If you have crypto, go right now to coincap.io, or you can use the Apple Store or Google Play to get the app. I love CoinCap. coincap.io.
While our satellite channel is free to listen to, it's not free for us. You can help us cover our satellite costs with the chip-in on the right side of the page at lrn.fm.
Final segment of Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition. It's Mark with you.
Jonny Ray.
And Brett.
You can call in. We might be able to sneak you in here, the final segment of Free Talk Live. I'll give you the number just in case. The number is 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. Now, if you don't get in this evening, Free Talk Live is on 7 days a week from 7p to 10p Eastern Time. So feel free to call in at the top of the show tomorrow. You don't actually have to be listening. It doesn't have to be on your station at that time. Whatever it might be, we're live 7p to 10p Eastern Time every day. If you like that, if you like that we're spreading the ideas of liberty far and wide on national radio, bringing these ideas that people haven't heard. Frankly, many people have never heard these ideas of liberty presented in the fashion that we present them at the very least. If you like that, please go to the Amplifiers page at amp.freetalklive.com. and help support us. $5 a month. We've got some perks that are really great, including a AMP. We've got an AMP show that we're doing that's exclusive to them, and we've got Facebook groups and forums and all that sort of thing that you can participate in. It's amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go to Ed calling in from New York. Looks like it's WAUB night here on Free Talk Live. Ed, you're on Free Talk Live.
Oh, yeah, I'm Ed. I'm wondering why is it that people don't, they don't respect anything.
Name
I'm a Marine.
one. What's on your mind the most?
Why do people not stand during the national anthem?
Well, all right. I guess we could start with what upsets you about people not standing.
Because I'm a Marine, or was a Marine, and I believe that they should stand to show respect to the flag.
What about why? What is the flag a symbol of to you?
The flag stands for the United States.
Okay.
And they get down one knee when the national anthem sang, or stay seated when the national anthem's being played. I can't figure it out.
Well, why do you think they're doing that?
I don't know.
Well, what reasons have you heard? I mean, so you've seen enough to know that people are doing it. You must have heard some of the discussions about why they're doing it. I don't really agree with the politics of it, but I think a lot of people feel like there is a considerable amount of injustice in the country. And again, I'm not making the argument to say that I agree with the politics of it, but I certainly do agree with some people's, sense that there is racial injustice, which is one of the reasons that's been cited, police violence against minorities. And they see this as, especially people in the NFL, they see that as a platform for protest.
I'm write a letter to the congressman.
Have you ever written a letter to your congressman, Ed?
Yes.
How did it work out?
Good.
It did? Because I've written lots of letters to my congressman, and they usually send me back some kind of form mail, and I feel like they're not listening, and they certainly don't vote the way that I would vote.
I don't know. Maybe they don't like you. I don't know.
They probably don't.
Well, Ed, what would you say to somebody in the NFL who is, let's say, black and concerned about police violence against black people, to help start to build a bridge to fix that situation? Like, they have things that are important to them. You have things that are important to you. What would be the best, like, non-antagonistic case that you would make to somebody like that to get them to stand for the pledge of the national anthem?
I don't believe we should talk about a game. It's I think they're showing disrespect to the flag, to the United States. They won't stand up. They get down on a knee and whatever the hell they're doing.
So let me give you my thought on this one. And I hear you. I've heard this a great deal, and my mother shares the opinion. But so, for one, they don't sit anymore. They're all going down on one knee rather than sitting, right? So they, somebody said, "Hey, you're disrespecting the troops." So they said, "Well, how can I do this protest and show whatever respect?" So there's actually pictures of these NFL players down on one knee with their hands over their heart. So they're doing their very best to address this issue, but this issue is kind of like, sort of a watch the birdie situation. Like, they're saying, "Hey," and I may or may not agree with the statistics as far as unarmed black males and police shootings, but I understand at the very least what their complaint is. Their complaint is black men are being shot in America and no one cares. And what's the response? Stand up and show respect for the people in the military and the flag. well, wait a second. I'm trying to show respect for the military by going down on one knee rather than, I don't know, laying down in the middle of the field masturbating or whatever it is that would show more disrespect than what they're doing. They're doing their very best to show the respect and to bring about their topic. But nobody wants to talk about the topic. Everybody wants to talk about disrespect for the troops.
Let's get back to football.
Okay.
Nobody's watching the games anymore.
Yeah, I think viewership's down by 2 or 3%.
A lot more than that.
Okay, I could go look that up for you.
But that's not really an argument against what they're doing, right? Because all that would mean is that the public is against what they're doing, but whether the public is for or against something is not an argument in favor of whether something is right or wrong, right? Like the public could be, 90% for something that's wrong. So just because less people are watching football doesn't mean that that's proof that what the people on the field are doing is wrong.
Either stand up or get out of the game is what I'm saying.
Right, but
are you going to start watching football again if people stand up for the national anthem?
Yes.
Okay.
What happened at the last Cowboys game? Because I know that the owner had said stand up or you're going to be benched for the game. Did anybody not stand? I don't watch football myself, but I was curious to see what the players, how they would react to that. Do you know?
No, Jones said stand up or get out of the game, whatever. Something like that.
Jerry Brown.
I didn't watch the last game. The Redskins are my team.
Well, there you go. I do appreciate the call, Ed. Thanks for the call. 855-450-3733. It's 855-450-FREE. It's interesting to me that the complaint that these people are protesting about never gets a hearing. It's all about, stand up or get out. Nobody ever wants to say, here's what we're going to do. It's all just pushback against the protest.
Well, it's become such a world of echo chambers that people don't even feel like they have to make the case for one side or the other. I mean, it's like whenever the left pushes you towards the right, talk to somebody on the right and they'll push you right back a lot of the times if the issue is the right one. People have these echo chambers, and in these echo chambers, they cement these ideas that they are absolutely right, that they are on the side of good, that the other side is evil. We talked about this earlier in the show with World War II. And they don't feel like there's any argument that needs to be made, and what the result of that is very often on the left and the right is very lazy thinking.
I think it was 2009 that they changed the rules as far as players coming out on the field. This isn't some kind of old-timey thing where all the players stand for the national anthem.
And that was when they teamed up with the Defense Department.
Right.
Yeah.
This is the United States government paying your tax money to force NFL players to participate in the national anthem. And surprise, surprise, when you're talking about teams of close to 100 people, and how many teams? Dozens of teams. I don't know how many. Got to be close to 50 teams across the United States. You're talking about what if there were 50 teams, and I don't know how many NFL teams there are, and there's 100 people on each team. You're talking about 5,000 people. 5,000 people aren't going to feel the same thing about anything. So there's some differences of opinion out there, and you're going to be better off listening to what other people's ideas are than just slamming your fist on the table and say you're going to do it my way or I'm not going to watch football. If you don't want to watch football, don't watch football.
Indeed.
If you want to watch football, watch football. But don't do something that harms you because somebody made you mad about your favorite song.
Yeah,
that's
well
nuts.
said.
Free Talk Live.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material.
FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons. When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
The Call to Freedom is coming up next, live after the news on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Sunday, October 15th, 2017. Silver is trading at $17.41 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,304 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at 3.6 cents, and the average price of Bitcoin is $5,494. Antiwar.com reports Catalan President Carles Puigdemont is struggling to navigate a growing political storm declaration of independence without any further delays. Spain has threatened to arrest Puigdemont if he tries that, and has threatened to seize all of Catalonia under direct rule. Spain's ultimatum deadline is fast approaching, and Puigdemont's call for talks does not seem to be getting much support anywhere, with Spain ruling out talks and Catalan officials saying there's nothing left to talk about. Some EU officials have cautioned Puigdemont against moving forward, and while that has apparently raised some hope of mediation talks, it's not clear there are people interested in attending such talks, even if the EU were to offer. On October 1st, Catalonia voted overwhelmingly in favor of secession. Spanish police cracked down on voters, injuring over 800. Spain has insisted the vote does not count, while Catalan voters held massive rallies to protest the violence. Bitcoin Not Bombs is a launching pad for nonprofits and social entrepreneurs into the financial freedom of the Bitcoin economy. Bitcoin Not Bombs is fully committed to being the hub of the nonprofit sector of the Bitcoin economy, maximizing the potential cross-promotion of all our clients and commercial partners. To learn more, visit bitcoinnotbombs.com. UPI reports a report that online retail giant Amazon is eyeing an entry into the prescription drug sales market, since shares tumbling for brick-and-mortar drugstore chains Walgreens and CVS on Friday. Amazon has been rumored to be considering a move into the drugstore business for months, though a report released by healthcare analyst Leerink earlier this month said it's highly likely Amazon will open a prescription drug delivery business sometime in the next 2 years. Representatives from Amazon declined to comment on the report. CNBC previously reported the company is expected to make a decision on whether to pursue a prescription drug sales strategy before Thanksgiving, though Amazon has a